Hi and welcome to today's video where I've got my various miscellaneous makeup and other items that I've purchased through April, May and June. So it will always, up to now it excludes fragrance because I keep that in a separate video at the moment, but these are everything else that I've purchased. So the first items that I picked up, I think maybe in the first anyway, were from QVC. And they were at today's special value, which means there is a special price for around 24 hours. It can be a little longer. They now introduce them from around 7 or 8 or 9 at night, and then it goes through till the midnight of the following day. So that's in excess of 24 hours. So also there are previews, and I think I picked this up on a preview, which is a couple of weeks before the items went on today's special value. You could pick it up at their limited reduced price. So I do use Ultrasun. I do use other items that have come in beauty boxes, etc., but my favourite is Ultrasun. These are a chemical, or mainly a chemical sunscreen made in Germany. A lot of really good chemical sunscreens are made there in that country. They're very, very skilled at doing that. And this was brought as a range to QVC by someone in the UK beauty industry called Abby Cleve, who's got now her own skincare out. So she brought this to the United Kingdom, and basically they sat with QVC as a sole supplier for a number of years. I think you can buy them elsewhere now, but I really do like this product. I just think they're absolutely reliable, and when they have been tested, they have been one of the few that have fully covered, as they say they will be. The SPF is as it says it is, as long as you apply them as directed. So basically this is available now on QVC for £87 or thereabouts. I think I paid £37 at today's special value, which is very, very good. It's like £12 or £12.50 each. So, and yet these are very expensive individually. So there was a sports edition, which I've got. Then there was a family edition, which I think had lower value SPF in larger containers. And then there was a tinted one. I decided not to get the tinted because I'm not sure what shade it would come out, and I may not always want to use a tinted one, particularly under foundation, but I wanted the sports one so that Mr. Bear could have this gel. So this is for the body and face. It's a big tub at 200ml, and it does cover UVA and UVB, and it is a gel. It's whitish, but it does go to clear. So I'd say it's a gel which is clear and matte. So it is very, very good. And with sport, it's resistant to sweat and rain and water. So it is their strongest one. It's the one that will last in the harshest of conditions. And Mr. Bear has been using it and enjoyed that up to now. These two I've not used yet. The first one here, or this one, is the face one for sensitive skin. SPF 50 UVA and B, and it's 100ml. So I think you put this on the face, and because it is chemical, you need to wait on the skin for 20 minutes before you do anything else with your skin. You can top up during the day by reapplying direct on itself, but the problem is if you've got makeup, you can't really do that. So they have brought out in recent years the 75ml of a spray, and it's a transparent face and scalp UV protection mist. And the beauty is it isn't too oily. I'm not saying it won't deposit oil on your hair, but if you were to use it, I don't use it in the hairline, but it is good as a top up to the face to give you added security if you're in great heat for any period of time. So they're the three items. I haven't used my two yet. Then I picked up several items on a trip to actually, it happened to be one trip, I think, to Superdrug. I have made several trips, but these are things I bought together. So I've got by Orly a base coat, Bonder, and it's called the Rubberized Base Coat. This is 18ml, and it is quite expensive. I used to get it online through Amazon because Orly wasn't generally available in the UK. In recent years, it has become available, and I got it for £1 off at £14.99. Haven't used it because I'm using one at the moment. Then I picked up as well 3 polishes from a clearance bin, and they were £1.35 instead of £4.50. So I've got the colour, the neon coloury shades. There's a tangerine, a lime, a slightly muted lime. I wouldn't say it was like what the ultraviolet or neons, but they are very bright. And then there is a beigey peach tone, like a natural nail colour. So I do like Essie as a company. I've got a number of their polishes, so I will be using those. And then finally, I picked up 2 items because I had seen on a shorts, several shorts actually on YouTube, probably from TikTok originally, and there was a number of people saying if you have blue eyes and you put these, a blue on the lower lash line and just underneath that, it will, just in the centre of the eye, it will emphasise the blue of your eyes if you've got blue eyes. Now I've got blue eyes, but they're not the bluest of blue, they're more of a grey blue. So I'm not sure they work particularly well, but I have enjoyed using them, and I have got a lot of use because this was at least a third longer, and that's where I am now. And this was around £5. It's Slick Flick from, the shade is Blue You Away, and it's from Missguided, and it's made in Germany, and it's a very soft eye pencil, so it's good in the waterline and doesn't cause me irritation. Then I've got a Propelling pencil from L'Oreal, and I mean certainly this was under £10, and it's from the Infallible range. It is in shade 006 Electric Blue. These are both available now. I would say it's supposed to be a cobalt, at least on the outside. I don't think it's quite there. It's a bit grey-greenish hint, I would say. But they're the 2. And what I do is I put the white-blue one first. It is the pale one is a mixture of white and blue, and sometimes just white shows on the hand. It depends how well it's been blended in manufacturing. So I put that first, and then I put the other on top and in the centre, and they look quite nice. I quite like them. Whether I'll continue with that after I've used them up, I don't know. I probably would continue buying that to whiten up the waterline. It's really, really pretty. So there were all the items I got from Superdrug. Then I think I picked this up from Sephora with another order, perhaps a perfume order, I don't know. But it's Sensi Bio by Bioderma. These were, as far as I'm aware, were the first company to launch micellar water, at least in the West. And this is 250ml. And then there's an I1 that's a duo, a biphase that you have to shake up, 125ml for the eyes. So this was £10. It's certainly worth around £24 to £30 for this set. So I was so pleased to get that, and I am running a bit low on both of those products. Then from, I think it's Just My Look, either Just My Look, which is an online clearance sort of store, or Notino, but I think it was Just My Look. I picked this item up, which was a double, I think it was from Christmas, a double beauty blender and a beauty blender cleansing soap. And it's, yeah, obviously a novelty pack. Now this is the state it came in. It was open, it was all bashed, but I think it was the only one left. Can you see it was there? And it was in an ordinary envelope, and of course it got bashed about. So I'm not too bothered because I paid somewhere between £10 and £12, when a beauty blender can typically be around £24 each. So that was fine. But I haven't seen much of Beauty Blender around in the UK, and because quite a few items have since become on clearance now, I'm wondering whether they are shedding stock with a view to, you know, either rebranding or perhaps pulling out of the UK market, or perhaps closing entirely. I don't know, but it seems something may be afoot. But I have got quite a few now in stock. But I think the reality is that people have either, they've got cheaper blenders that may not be as good but are okay. Also, people are using fingers and brushes a lot more in foundation application and base makeup. I think it depends, horses for courses. Some makeups are better with blenders, some with your hand, some with brushes. But again, it's also down to personal preference. But I do think brushes have got a renaissance at the moment. Then I wanted to pick up a couple of contours because I had a liquid contour that was in my Project Pan, which I used up, and I really enjoyed using it. So I picked up a mini of the Westman Atelier contour for £23. This, I think I got a reduction as well, but its value is £23. It's a very heavy metal case. The top is plastic, like a carbon, and it doesn't have the metal top, which the large one does, which clicks home on its own. But it is, like I say, it's a heavy component, and this one it's a miniaturized. It's 2.5 gram or 2.5 gram, and it's in the colour biscuit, which is their most popular biscuit shade as a contour. So there it is. And then I also picked up a full size of the milk one. Where have I put the milk? There it is. And yet the milk is smaller than the mini of Westman Atelier. Now, the contour stick used to be in a larger component. They've made them smaller. Obviously, it's easier for transport, but because they're so tiny, they can get lost within a makeup collection. So I'm not sure it's the wisest of move, but it did come with a protective top. Unfortunately, when I took it off, it took part of the product off as well. But it doesn't matter, it'll be used and get smudged. But I've got them on my hand. This is the Westman Atelier, which is slightly warmer, but it's a cool tone beige. Quite a neutral, if not slightly pink tone. And then there is a greyish or a taupe shade by Milk. So the Milk one, I think, was around £20 or around for the full size, and you get 5.7 gram. So yeah, I'll see how they both are. They're both very well regarded. I know a lot of influencers are often heavily influenced or paid to say positive things about certain cosmetics from certain companies. However, there are so many people who have bought this and say they enjoy these products, particularly in the colours that I've got, which is the Milk Toasted and the Westman Atelier Biscuit. So yeah, they're shades that I would use, particularly the Westman Atelier, maybe a bit warmer, could be used in summer, but I think they could be used all year round, in all honesty. Then I picked up a brow fro. So it's basically a fibre liquid that tints brows and fills the brows out. And this one is even paler than the palest one by Benefit, and I do like the Benefit ones. So this is a very pale, slightly ashy blonde. And the problem is, if I get a warm blonde, it goes orange on my eyebrows. So I'm better to go for an ashy, which doesn't really look ashy on my skin. It tends to, my skin warms it up a bit. And then I picked up from another online order, FanFest by Benefit. That came out last autumn. So it's their latest mascara. Here it is, and it's got quite groovy packaging, a bit psychedelic. My eyelashes tend to fan a little. I really like that, and if I can emphasise that feature, I will. And also, I like to have my lashes lengthened because they're very short and thin, but they do curl on themselves. So this wand is got a curve just like the roller lash. It's a little large. Not the largest I've seen, but a little large for my eyes, which are very small. And it's a standard bristle brush. But I like the idea of this, and I wanted to give it a try. So I ended up picking up the full size one. And then also I picked up, again, this may have been from Superdrug. This is Barry M Fresh Face Dewy Setting Mist, Cucumber and Snow Mushroom, made in the UK. I haven't tried it, it's still got its seal on. I'm hoping this acts as a setting spray rather than a blending spray, because some sprays help the powders mix together, but they don't extend the longevity of your makeup. I hope this does extend the longevity. We'll soon see. But it was inexpensive, and a lot of face mists are made in China. Now, the final products that I've got here are probably my favourite base product of all time. And these are, if not one of my favourites. I've been using this, which is the IT Cosmetics Original CC Cream, since it came to the UK in the last 10 years. Initially, it came to QVC, and I've been buying many, many boxes since its arrival. And I've had up to 4 at a time. So this is one of the boxes from QVC. and this is the Fair. It shows an off-white top. Now the Fair shows quite a warmy beige tone. So what happened is I was using these getting low, and I thought, well, I better replace the Fair. Now I've got one I'm just going to start, and I've got this which I'm near the end of. So basically I went online trying to find it, and only Sephora at the time had, this was like a couple of months ago, had the CC cream in Fair. So I picked it up, thought no more of it, and then I thought in recent weeks I'll give it a try. So when I did, I noticed there was a tonal difference. So basically I then checked the boxes. So the original one, the writing is different, same size, the writing is different there compared to that. And on the back, the new one, this one here is made in America, the original was made in Korea. So when I put them on my hand, I have swatched them and they've been on my hand a while. This is the original one in Fair. So this one, I would say, is quite an olive toned one, in all honesty. It's beigey, but with a bit of a green element. This is quite, and a bit greyish. This is quite typical of the Korean coloration for the paler colours. They tend to only sell paler colours in Korea. And it's a very typical Korean formulation in that it's fairly thin. It's a light to medium coverage. Now, in recent years, a lot of people have tried this and are saying it's thick and it's heavy. I do have my thoughts on that. But one of these is I didn't realise that it's been reformulated, because that is the one made in America, and it is much thicker and it isn't as slick. It wants to grip to the skin a bit more, but you can spread it. It's just if you've got a well moisturised surface on the skin. So basically there's two tonal differences. Although this is an olive shade, which is called warm in many versions of the colour wheel, they both could be classed as warm tone. This one has a orangey base, is what I will say, an orangey tone to it. And this one is more greenish. So they're certainly not cool tone, and I have cool tone skin. But this does present as significantly darker on my skin. This is darker, but I don't want my skin to be as pale as it naturally is. I look like a ghost. And on most videos, I'm wearing this and I still look very, very pale. Again, it's the lighting. But this is very, very warm and very dark. So what I do is I have a high pigment mixer that's white with a slight pink undertone. It makes it really, really nice for me. So this is my replacement for the original CC cream Fair from QVC. So I did notice that they were bringing other versions of Fair, like Fair Warm, Fair Light, Fair Beige, and I think there was Fair Porcelain, but there wasn't a Fair. So I thought, what have they done with the Fair? So I presumed it had been renamed. So when I then tried to match up, it was very, very difficult. But they were selling off at Sephora the Fair shade in the CC cream, which led me to believe, I bet it's been discontinued, the standard Fair. So I picked up 2 boxes for about £28 or £29 instead of around £40 to £42. So I got these, put them in a drawer, thought nothing of it. In the last couple of weeks I took them out and again got the comparison and realised that they had changed in tone and in texture. So I now understand where people complain about this CC cream, saying it's very thick, it's on the face. Yes, they have changed the formula, but if your face is very moisturised, I don't see there being much of a problem, if any at all. I have no problem. It blends, even the new formula blends extremely well. However, people have been using this on dry skin because it has serum in, because it has, skin loving ingredients and moisturisers. Yeah, it does, but it shouldn't be in place of a good skin routine. It goes on top of, but it means that this won't necessarily strip moisture out of the skin. It can in certain circumstances, like if you're in a very dry environment that's not humid, then yes, your skin can go dry. But in the UK, it's a humid atmosphere at best when it's hot. So, this is fine, but you must do a really good optimal skincare before laying down this. But the new version is heavier, and you can get it to a top end of medium with the new cover. No, so what I did is I brought mine when I went into Manchester a few days ago. And I thought I will match up which of the new CC Cream fairs match this. So I went to Space NK because they have recently started selling It Cosmetics. Unfortunately, the CC Cream, this shade, I couldn't get a match because they've changed the names, and this is just seems to be maybe discontinued because there is no one that's just called Fair at Space NK. So I went to Boots. They had a fuller range and they had the Fair. But they seem to be the only one, perhaps the only retailer now with Fair. So I think they may have the last of stock, because in the US, the Fair one isn't available anymore. So I think what they've done is they've changed the tones and called all different variants of Fair, but they all run very, very yellow on my skin, so aren't really suitable. So at the moment, I'm glad to be able to use what there is of the Fair. Even though it's a different tone than I'm used to, I can make it work. So I, like I said, picked these up from Sephora, went into Boots Manchester, and they have a big stand, and they have a dedicated salesperson who was aware of this shade. He had this shade, but had never seen the original Fair. So I brought mine, and he said, I didn't realise the formula and the tone had changed. We couldn't get a match to that. We couldn't get a match to this one. So what I'm going to do is try and buy as many of the standard Fair with just Fair on as I can, and then thereafter I will have to get the nearest match, either in a Fair or a darker shade. If it's darker, I will have to lighten it, but I already lighten the new Fair anyway. But I do love the formula. The problem is if you put too much lightening in, you lose the formula, because your pigment that you add is the main ingredient, and you just don't want that. So, long-winded way of saying love this this serum foundation. Absolutely beautiful. I can't say it's the longest wearing, but with setting down, you do get some longevity to it, but it isn't a 24-hour one by any means. So, like I say, they're all the items that I've bought. Can I say thank you very much for watching? Hopefully, I shall see you in another video. Otherwise, please take care of yourselves, and bye for now.